Hello comic book guys and gals, and welcome to Comic Mag Musings. I am your host, Bill Miller. Today we are going to do a comic book haul of some comics that I picked up from a comic book shop about 45 minutes to an hour away from where I'm at. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. It's a wonderful place to live. I've been here for most of my life. I'm one of the few natives. But the comic book scene is a little bit nascent. So I'll continue that story as I show you these comics. All of these were picked up for 50 cents a piece. There's nothing particularly great or key about any of them, but I think some of them are pretty cool books. Most of them are in mid-grade, some of them are in higher grade. New Mutants, number 24. So, being in Phoenix, it's a very big city. It's big as far as square mileage is concerned, and it's big in population. I believe it's the fourth or fifth largest city in the entire country. Millions of people live here. And so you would think that would make for a pretty robust comic book scene. But that's not necessarily the case. It's hot. In the summertime, it gets very, very hot. It's a great kill raven. And it's a dry heat. Tomb of Dracula. But it's got a pretty robust economy. The winters are amazing. And the cost of living is pretty reasonable. So growth is booming. And it has been for decades. People are knocking themselves out to move to Phoenix from the Midwest, North, Northeast, and California. I'd say there was a slow burn of population growth through the 50s, 60s, 70s. But when, this is a slide motion cover here, pull that down and up, and on the cover, there will be an animation. But really since the 80s, when swamp coolers were pretty much done away with, and HVAC, air conditioners, were standardized and normed in most all new builds and retrofitted to existing houses. It went from a slow burn to a boom, and people started flocking here. So the thing about people moving is, especially if they're moving from far away, say New York, Michigan, Chicago. Great Punisher book there. They tend to bring only what they need, minimize packing, minimize shipping and moving costs. And comic books usually aren't on the list of things that they feel they need. Old War of the Worlds. Again, all of these were 50 cents each. Another one. And so one of the casualties during the moves are comic books, particularly Golden Age, Silver Age, Bronze. So you don't have a lot of those floating around Phoenix. It's just the way it is. You'll see a lot of books from the mid-80s up until modern, because people who collected comics in whatever state they came from continued to collect when they came here. But in most cases, they sold their collection or gave it away or did something prior to moving. And so they started anew when they got here. And so you'll see a plentiful amount of books from the 80s, especially 90s, just like you would anywhere, but not a tremendous amount from before then. And that's really with any antiquities. You can't go to New York without tripping over antiques. It's a different situation in Phoenix. Most of the antiques that are here, some of the bigger pieces of furniture, let's say, may have been brought, but most of them were imported from the Northeast and the Southeast. It's a cool Moon Knight cover. Moon Knight number 4. And so this was a comic book store in Mesa. It's maybe 45 minutes to an hour away from me. I'm in North Phoenix. And I had never been there before. Been to lots of comic book shops in Phoenix. There aren't too many that are near me or within 10, 15 minutes of me. But I had never been to this one. And they were put on my radar, and I thought I'd check them out, and I raided their 50-cent bins. It was fun to dig through, look for what I thought were some cool books, or some that were maybe in a little bit better shape than I had generally seen, and some that I collect, like Warlord. This is maybe a 5.5. So Warlord number 3. So not one that I would. It would be a reading copy for me. Warlord number 8. So it's always a challenge to find comic book shops that have some old or even copper comic books at reasonable prices, because there's a premium. There just aren't a lot in this state. The internet certainly has helped with that, but it's a lot easier and more affordable to pick up books from local collectors, and we just don't have a lot of local collectors that have a lot of older books in Phoenix. And that'll do it for this comic book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't done so already, I would encourage you to watch my other videos. I would also encourage you to subscribe. That way you get notified as soon as I release new videos. Thumbs up and comments are always appreciated. And until next time, remember, we're taking over the world